I never thought my marriage would dissolve quietly. No shouting, no explosive confrontations, just a slow, silent erosion of everything that once made sense. My name is Daniel. I'm 42, from North Carolina. For most of my life, I believed patience could fix anything. My wife, Melissa, used to call me the calm in her chaos. Somewhere along the way, she began mistaking that calm for weakness. We met in our late 20s. She worked at the same company I did, bright, witty, magnetic in a way that drew everyone in. I was the quiet one, the guy who arrived early and stayed late. She appreciated that I listened. I loved that she noticed me. The early years were simple and happy. We built a life together, a house, a dog, weekend barbecues with friends. But love that isn't nurtured slowly withers. By our 10th anniversary, we were sharing a bed but living in entirely different worlds. Melissa began highlighting my flaws in subtle, cutting ways. The way I chewed, the clothes I wore, my old truck that I refused to replace. She'd roll her eyes when I spoke, laugh a little too long at other men's jokes. I convinced myself she was just stressed, that people change, that marriage requires endurance. But endurance is not the same as neglect. The turning point came one evening when she casually told me she'd be spending the weekend with friends at the coast. "You don't mind, right?" she asked, eyes glued to her phone. I said I didn't, though the truth was I did. More than I should have. By then, she'd stopped asking if I wanted to join months ago. When she returned, she smelled of someone else's life. Perfume, unfamiliar, laughter that didn't belong to us. I wanted to ask who she had been with, but I stayed silent, hoping she would volunteer the truth. She never did. Days blurred into weeks of quiet distance. I made dinner, she picked at her plate. I asked about her day, she shrugged. It wasn't conflict. It was absence dressed up as peace. Then one night she spoke. "I think we should take a break," she said, as casually as suggesting a movie. "You've been distant. I don't feel appreciated." I almost laughed. Distant? But I nodded, letting her believe the story she had already written. The next morning, she packed a small bag, kissed the dog, and left. No tears. No goodbye. Just the sound of her heels fading down the driveway. That night, I sat at the kitchen table staring at her chair, the one where she once sipped coffee and shared dreams before complaints replaced conversation. It struck me then that I had been trying to save something she had already abandoned. 2 weeks later, she returned. Not because she missed me, but because she expected me to ask her back. She walked in, tossed her keys on the counter, and said, "So, are we going to talk about us?" She looked composed, confident, in control. Something inside me clicked off. "Sure," I said. "Let's talk." She rattled off all the ways I had failed her. Not romantic enough, too predictable, too quiet. Every word felt rehearsed. When she paused, expecting me to argue, I calmly said, "You're right." Her expression faltered. "You mean?" "I mean, you're right. You deserve something else, and so do I." The next day, while she was at work, I met with an attorney. Not out of anger, but clarity. The divorce papers were ready within a week. When she returned, they were waiting on the kitchen counter. Neatly stacked, signed, final. She stared at them as if I were joking. "You're serious?" She laughed nervously. "You think I'll just let you walk away?" "I don't need your permission," I replied. For the first time in years, she had no comeback. She simply stared, realizing I was no longer someone she could manipulate. That night, she packed again. I didn't stop her. I didn't say goodbye. I just watched her leave, fully aware she had already lost what she thought she could control. 2 days of heavy, yet peaceful silence followed. I cooked for myself, cleaned the house, and slept on her side of the bed simply because I could. I thought it was over. Then, on the third night, a knock at the door. Late, quiet, where every sound felt amplified. I opened it. There she was, Melissa, hair messy, face pale, eyes red. No anger, just exhaustion. "Can we talk?" she asked softly, voice small, like it used to be when apologizing years ago. I stepped aside. She walked in slowly, scanning the house as if expecting it to feel different. It didn't. "I didn't think you'd actually do it," she murmured, nodding at the papers still on the table. "I know," I said. "You were supposed to fight for us, Daniel. You always did before." "I used to fight for us," I said. "But lately it felt like I was just fighting for you." She sank into a chair, hands trembling. "I needed space. I thought you'd care enough to stop me." "I did care," I said. "That's why I let you go. I'm done confusing patience with begging." She looked down, blinking rapidly. "You're being cold." "No," I replied. "I'm being honest. There's a difference." A long silence stretched between us, broken only by the ticking clock. "I didn't mean for it to get this far," she whispered. "But you let it," I said calmly. "Because you assumed I wouldn't." Her eyes met mine, sharp, confident, the same look that used to win every argument. But it didn't work now. She faltered. "You really don't want to try again?" I smiled faintly. "You don't repair something you've thrown away. You replace it or learn to live without it." She exhaled shakily. "I thought you'd always wait, that you'd never make me stop." That line hung in the air. She wiped her eyes, looked around. Same furniture, same photos. But everything felt distant, foreign. "I made mistakes," she whispered. "We both did," I said. "The difference is I learned from mine." Her shoulders slumped. "There isn't someone else, is there?" "No," I said simply. "You don't need someone else for me to realize I deserve better." She let out a humorless laugh. "You sound so sure of it." I nodded. "Because the version of me who waited, begged, and hoped you'd notice? He's gone. You made sure of that." Melissa stood, eyes glassy. "So that's it. Years together, and you won't even give me another chance." "This isn't revenge," I said gently. "It's release. I gave you a decade of chances. I'm done. That's all." She searched my face, maybe looking for the man she could manipulate. When she found he wasn't there, she nodded slowly. "I didn't think you had it in you," she murmured. "I didn't either," I admitted. "But losing your respect taught me how to find my own." She walked to the door, pausing just before leaving. "You'll regret this," she said softly. "Maybe," I replied, "but not tonight." The door closed, final, silent. For days afterward, she texted, small things, desperate attempts. "Can we talk? I didn't mean it. Please don't do this." I didn't respond, not cruelty, clarity. Peace doesn't come from fixing everything. Sometimes it comes from letting it stay broken. Weeks passed. I learned to cook for one, to sleep without waiting for a light to go off, to enjoy silence without guilt. I didn't hate her. In a strange way, I was grateful. She showed me what love shouldn't feel like and what self-respect actually means. Months later, I saw her at the grocery store. She smiled, hesitated, then walked away. And I realized the moment she left wasn't when I lost her. It was when I found myself again. She expected me to beg. Instead, I silently thanked her for finally setting me free.